morning. It's a wonderful opportunity I'd like to take today to talk about the different presentations that were scheduled and performed. The preparation I thought was very, very good. A lot of energy, a lot of effort went into the different presentations, and I was very impressed with the willingness of the different students to get up in front of their classmates and in front of a video camera and speak in English about your subjects. Today I would like to review some of the strengths and some of the weaknesses that I saw during some of the different presentations. I will be using some of the video footage to demonstrate both strengths and weaknesses, and it will involve specifically some of the different students. And my intention is that this will not be an embarrassment to any of the students. I'm hoping that everyone can learn from each other's strengths and weaknesses. So with that, let's go ahead and we will talk about some of the factors in the presentation. Today I want to talk about the presentations in general, the style, the organization, and time utilization. How well was the time utilized? Then I'll talk a little bit about language, and that'll include pronunciation, which will be stress and phonics, as well as a little bit about grammar, and then vocal volume, vocal speed, vocal clarity, and accent. Finally, I'll talk about collaboration, and then a little bit about critical thinking. So let's go ahead and begin with the presentation. We know that a presentation that is well designed captures the interest of the audience. And if a presentation is not conducted well, the audience will lose their attention. They'll become bored. And so some of the different things that we saw in the presentations are worth looking at, because some of them increase interest and others decreased interest. So let's begin by taking a look at the style or format, and specifically the way speakers were utilized. There were three different forms that I saw in the different presentations. First of all was what we might call a sequential monologue. There might be 4 speakers, and each speaker took a turn speaking about the subject matter. Second, there was a speaker-to-speaker interactive dialogue, where one speaker spoke to another speaker about the subject matter. And I thought this was particularly interesting, and I would like to show a little example from this. Now, one of the advantages of this kind of a format is one speaker can ask the other speaker a question. And by having 2 speakers who interact with each other, it is more engaging for the audience. Now, there's a risk and a reward to doing this kind of presentation, because the 2 speakers really need to be coherent, and they really need to be coordinated as they do their dialogue. different interruptions in the sequence can break the listener's concentration. In addition, if you have two second language speakers speaking, a first language listener continuously needs to adjust listening skills to the different accent of the two different speakers. So although this is a very, very attractive, engaging format, there are some liabilities with it. It's much more difficult to do this kind of presentation effectively. The third form of speaker presentation was where the speakers actually engaged the audience, where they asked the audience questions. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a hold of the video, but I thought that was a very effective way of presenting the material. Now, audience interaction is really a very important component of speaking. I saw a couple different approaches. Some of the speakers had excellent eye contact with the audience. Others did not. Some of the speakers just sat and read from the PowerPoint, the script from the PowerPoint, rather than actually speaking to the audience. And I thought this was a good example of someone who really has a high level of English fluency, in fact probably is a first language speaker. But notice how he addresses the audience. The second feature that I thought was important in all of the presentation was the utilization of the PowerPoint. Some of the PowerPoints were very creative, they were very engaging, and they captured the attention of the audience. Other PowerPoint presentations put so much information up on the screen that it was difficult for